It's December 14th, 2017, and this is the new work study. Looks like it's just Gary and me today. We have these topics that have been suggested for the meeting, as potentially for the meeting, depending on who showed up. The Zapier integration with Google Sheets to Mattermost for RChain. We probably could get that fixed. /dig when, we could talk about it. /dig ID, we could talk about it. MetaMaps integration, I guess we could start to set up that on Slack, on the test Slack. And the rolling on HoloChain, we don't really have any coaches for that today. But we
so I would leave 5 where it is, and I'm not really interested in learning about another Zapier at this point in time, unless you are.
Well, the problem is this, okay? The budget sheet reports in the log channel changes to budgets. Oh no. Yeah, I think it was doing the changes in the voters. It was based on the voters column in the Google spreadsheet. And I guess that has to be changed to the budget, changes in the budget. And there's been some columns changed. So we have to select the right columns. And I think I already updated I already updated it to use the sheet for this month. Manually, we have to change it to do the current sheet this month. The reason the Zapier integration was first, because that's sort of a thing that I have to do. But it's not necessarily what we wanted, what we're going to do. So I moved the MetaMaps integration up to number 2, assuming that's the thing you wanted to work on.
Well, I looked at some of that JavaScript yesterday on the MetaMapper project, and I don't think learning JavaScript is the best use of my time.
Well, what JavaScript programming is needed? You mean to put it on Mattermost? Okay.
No, I was looking at the MetaMapper program on GitHub.
Right.
Are we going to have to understand that program a little bit to integrate MetaMaps with Slack?
No. That part of it's already done. We're mainly going to have just trouble configuring it. We're going to learn about it.
Well, I'm game. Let's see. The other priorities we had were for the OAuth integration with our sign-ins on the social ledger. And there was one other.
There's also
if we visited, yeah, what we should do.
So, yeah, the global search has some issues. I don't, they're not really a priority right now.
But wouldn't the dig search and the dig when and the dig ID all be sort of related? That dig ID is kind of related to the OAuth integration, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Those 3, 4, 5, and 6 seem to be the most related of the things on that list.
Yeah, the debugging here is
Lower priority.
right now it's a lower priority. Because we don't have multiple channels yet. Although if we beef up the, if we can get the social ledger beefed up in the governance domain, then the global search will be useful for RChain in searching across the governance domain and the community domain.
Yeah.
But right now they aren't. So it's not really a problem, but except that it's a known issue, and I'm wondering why that happens. It seems like the BridgeBot in all channels.
And
50 results.
if we
Yeah.
if you think about this morning when we were talking with Robert Best over in the social ledger channel on RChain Mattermost, he listed that long list of things he was looking for.
Right, but he's not here.
No, but what I'm saying is we're prioritizing that list right there. And everything in that list could be addressed if we were to visit the dig when command. You see what I'm saying?
No. How is identity addressed by when command?
No, I'm talking about everything in Robert's list of that. He was wanting to do all these things with his bot over there, and And we, you said that the dig when command would actually allow anyone to do all those things on that list. So it seems like if there were some way to add his commitment to number 4, that number 4 might be. There's really a lot we could do with that dig when command before we even get the OAuth integration. Don't you think? I mean, the OAuth integration really only becomes a super concern when we start dealing with negotiable tokens. And I know we are on the social ledger, but everybody can see what's happening there right now.
So I just added his list here.
Yeah.
Under Flash when.
Yeah, I should have thought of that myself, but I can't talk and think at the same time.
That would be a useful skill. Okay, so there's a number of aspects of the when command. Ability to remove all added to channel messages and announcements.
Do you understand that ability to auto add people to channels? I mean, that's kind of an easy one, isn't it?
We have the bridge bot is a member of every channel. But I think we can, we can add people to public channels. That's not a problem. I mean, we have a helper script that adds the Mattermost account to all the public channels, and there may be a problem with that. That's necessary for the dig search. So let's break it down into use cases. And use cases, and then we have triggers and actions. We did command pattern. I'll just put other
Yeah,
most events. We really want to be able to specify any event that matter most. Emoji. How do you spell emoji? Reactions.
do we need to go into the reason why nobody's ever done this before?
Lots of systems have been like this, sort of. Um,
Well, for instance, you know, I was we had to turn off the user bots on Slack because it's so easy to use for abuse and impersonation and so on and so forth. You know, I think we're just, to us, it's just natural why we can do that now and nobody could do it before, but I'm not sure it's obvious to everybody.
I'll just put it as a question. I mean, are we dealing with a trusted community or not? Okay, well, I've open money and ID commands. You know, it could be /dig ID, it could /dig open money, but we're doing it sort of separately. And the Mattermost, I mean the metamaps. I don't know what I would put it. I'll just put in /meta. What's a whatever. I'll just put meta maps. Okay.
What about the implementation of this dig win command?
Uh,
Doesn't look right, does it? But I can't, but it seems to be. Still doesn't look right to me. I don't like that I at the beginning of it, but that's all right.
so we have a um, a directory of patterns um, for triggers. So when you say when, it adds something. It adds a pattern. For directory of patterns for triggers. Having list of actions. Uh, uh,
So it's a key list pair.
yeah. And, we have different streams, okay, that you can have an event in. Like the discussion in the channel is one stream. The commands that are typed is another stream.
So there, we've got some sort of language of triggers we could, or composition of triggers we can deal with. Or algebra of triggers.
They call them streams here. Should have channel messages, channel commands. Okay, and these aren't really separate because you're typing a channel command into the channel, right? Actions on an activity. And I think they put up there. Message reactions. Okay, and then you know,
No, remind me what activities are again. And we would trigger when someone clicked on an activity, or
um,
or I, I'm not sure how we trigger on an activity.
well, let's say a commitment to a welcome new member activity.
Oh, I got you. Yes, yes.
So any of the activity
Of
types
course,
have
of course. Yeah, yeah.
any action on there, we would want to account for it. Now,
Yeah, we could
we,
look at the different types of activities and do some logic on if it's a certain type and the commitment level is above such a certain type, then they join such and such channel, and if it's not, then they join such and such channel automatically. Otherwise, they may find their way there, but that's the action that our automated bot took based on the activity you just did. Yeah, okay, I like that.
okay, we had uh, now in principle, we could have a general thing that could listen to any event. We just have to say what the event name is. We could say event, Mattermost event, and give the name of the event. Basically give the arguments. But that all has to be figured out. Um, joining a channel, it really was one that was a use case that he would greet here. And so the language of this has to be determined, and we sort of have to cherry pick the minimum viable product.
And down under actions that the when command can take or can initiate, we need to include, I mean, you did it there, I guess, when you said any command. Let me think about that for a second. I was thinking of something else we wanted in that list. Hold on. Well, yes, it can do any commands, but it can also take any action that a user can take, such as clicking a commitment level.
Yeah, that's all right.
What is that?
Right.
That is like wait a minute, what is that? Now, this is not a trigger. This is an action I'm talking about. The action that the bot can take is to behave just as a user at a keyboard, and things that person could do would check commitment levels and but that's all included in commands, isn't it? Every command, everything that a user can do can be written as a dig command. Is that not correct?
Well, that's in principle. I mean, right now we don't have a dig commit, but we could have a dig commit. Uh, and things like a commit are a why don't I just put it in here?
Any an action could, it just could be any process, right? It can trigger on processes and it can initiate processes. Now, the interesting thing about the actions that it can take actions for a user, but if it's taking an action for a user when a user is not present, then it wouldn't want to. Where in the logic will it know not to display the meta map or the meta graphics?
It just wouldn't. It would get back the link and it wouldn't do it.
The code is already there to take care of that. We could still initiate the command. But some parts of actions, have effects that have to happen whether a user is there or not. So we're almost getting into some differences of the front end and the back end here, aren't we?
Well, in a sense, the /OM should be able to do commitments and all that stuff. The open money, in principle, should be able to handle any kind of tokens. Okay, and one more thing, conditions.
This is a use case?
No. Use cases are A.
So our list of A, B, C, and D are what? These are just points that we're considering when we're talking about dig when. We've got triggers, we've got actions, we've got permissions. What are these conditions? Now, I don't quite. That are separate from actions and triggers. Oh, are these states that we have to be aware of? Is that some sort of state of the world?
Yeah, when you say when, you're specifying a condition, really. Okay, and we have the triggers, and then we have additional conditionals. I guess I'll call them conditionals. User, a context.
A context. Context I know about.
Okay, contents is
Should this whole conditionals business be context?
well, you have the context, okay, which can be down to normally would be I'll just say channel/activity.
Yeah, and we also have to talk about context because this is going to be concurrent processing, because any one of these dig win commands that we issue can spawn, unlimited copies of itself.
We're making this look real big. I mean, we can do a lot with a little, maybe. Scope.
This thing's starting to look like a programming language.
Yeah. Scope. User. User. Then I'll just put logical expression. And that's really sounding like a language now, isn't it? And this is really what we're talking about here, is the language of social objects, the domain-specific language.
We'll need to show this to Robert, so he'll see what came from his from our collaboration this morning, because we wouldn't have done this if he hadn't given us this idea. You misspelled commands in line 3 there.
Okay, well, we got that fleshed out a little bit, so we got something done.
Yeah, I think that's a good stopping point for today.
We earned our divvy.
Yeah.
So, I'm hoping that a lot of people rally behind the social ledger I don't know. I was really excited by Joachim's presentation, but I didn't get the feeling that other people were that excited. I don't know. But we have to, inspire people to join the team if we're going to get all this stuff done. And so far,
Well, what we've got to do is make sure other people are enjoying themselves as much as we are. And we're enjoying ourselves because we're seeing how we're promoting something we believe in, which is the social ledger project. Now, these other people have investments in other things.
right. Um,
Are we being recorded?
yes, we are. But I think we're running to the end of the hour here. I can probably turn the recording off unless there's something else we want to cover.
I'm good.